I indicated in second reading of the report, quite a number of sectors are benefiting from this supplementary budget. Top among them, our university students, who are getting an extra 15.4 billion shillings going towards the Higher Education Loans Board and the University Funding Board to ensure that no child misses an opportunity to access higher education. There is also money going to the Primary Healthcare Fund, a lot of money also going to make sure that every Kenyan who accesses a primary health care facility, whether it is public or private, and that facility is enlisted under SHA, and also the patient who is visiting that hospital is registered under SHA, they get primary health care at no cost or at the cost of the taxpayer or the government of Kenya, since that money that is being paid in the Primary Healthcare Fund is going to cater for such bills. Honorable Speaker, again, there is a regularization of the 223 items, especially those that dealt with the drought situation. And you remember there are many members who did request for statements and file questions around what government was doing around the question of drought last year and at the beginning of this year. We thank God for the rains, but the rains also have come up with another challenge of floods, and therefore there is need also to have contingency measures around flood mitigation, both in urban and rural areas, to ensure that we do not lose lives. Honorable Speaker, lastly, we must prepare for the aftershocks of the war in the Gulf. As I said yesterday, Honorable Speaker, it is expected that in due course, fuel prices will change, not just in Kenya, but around the globe. Indeed, they have started changing. If you look at the situation in the United States, as much as I hear President Trump saying they have adequate oil to sell to others, even within the United States, prices of oil are going up, and therefore Kenya will not be an exception. And therefore we must be prepared and have measures to mitigate against some of these aftershocks of the war. The war will also disrupt business in other sectors, those who import. Many of us witnessed recently what came with the global world trade, with the disruption of the shipping lines or shipping routes to the Middle East and out of the Middle East. But also the opportunities, Honorable Speaker. You saw the close to 9,000 cars that are being transshipped from the port in Lamu. And that tells us the strategic location that we are at as a nation, not just for our airports as a hub in the region, but also for our seaports. The port of Lamu and the port of Mombasa can become an alternative port of transshipment in and out of the Middle East to the rest of the world, and as a connecting transshipment point between Asia, Europe, and the Americas. And the same opportunities are abound with our airports. And that is why when we enacted the National Infrastructure Fund, which I note yesterday the President did gazette members of the Governing Council, and we look forward to this Governing Council now sitting to begin to recruit members of the board so that this board can become a reality and they can begin work in earnest to make sure that we build a new hub at our airport at JKIA and develop many of our other airports to ensure that this becomes a focal point for global trade and global movement of citizens of the world. You can imagine with the trade, Honorable Speaker, the opportunities that are abound at JKIA. If the Emirates, Qatar Airways, the Etihads of this world had an opportunity to use JKIA as their hub when rockets, drones, and missiles were flying all over in the Middle East. And because it is not the end of wars in the world, we must be prepared. At least in this region, we do not foresee any wars. And the only challenge that we had was that of insecurity coming from activities of terrorists. And that is why you will see there is an additional allocation in this budget to the National Intelligence Service for intelligence gathering to ensure that we continue to safeguard our borders and also additional resources to our armed forces and our policemen and women to ensure that our country remains safe. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, with those very many remarks, I beg to second this motion and urge the House, since we debated this yesterday, to just allow the Speaker to propose, and God willing, we can put the question that the Speaker indulging us. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. Honorable members, I therefore propose the question that the Supplementary Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2026, be now read a second time. Honorable members, we have a maximum of 30 minutes on this. Honorable Victor Koech.